What's going on, my good people? This is your favorite plus size model, Tutan Reyes, in the building, co-host of the Behind the Mask podcast. Appreciate y'all joining us on this episode. Me and my host Spikes, my brother, boy. You know it's Super Bowl week, so you know we're gonna have that bet again. Yeah, I won last time. I wonder what we're gonna do again this year. Probably run it back. We'll see. Also got to talk about these quarterbacks, the carousel moving around in the NFL. Jared Goff, Matthew Stafford, Deshaun Watson. Seems like everybody's on the go. Make sure you tune in. Before you do that, click that subscribe button, share, leave some comments too, because we needed to know what we should make Spikes do when he loses this bet yet again. Make sure you share, follow us on social media at the BTN Podcast, tell a friend to tell a friend, and we'll see you again. Let's go.
Let's go behind the mask.
Welcome back to another edition of the Behind the Mask podcast. Big week is already here. The big game is already here. And I cannot wait to break this thing down. But first, I can't do it by myself. Let me reach out to my partner, man. Tu, where you at, homie?
It's your favorite plus size model, Tutan Reyes, in the building. What's good, Spikes?
Why you got to do all of that, though?
Oh, man, you know I got to clear my throat. Being a champion that I am, Super Bowl's here. You know another bet is coming. So I just want you to hear this clearly as we get into this episode and you lose this bet for yet another year.
You still need to get into the gift of fulfilling your own belt, bud. You've been
Me. I just got to clear my throat. That's all.
Man, you clear this, though. How about that?
It was good, man. It was good. A lot going on this week, brother, leading up to this Super Bowl, man.
Man, it's a lot going on, bro. Like I'm looking forward to talking about the big game, but when you look at it more and more, I tell people all the time, the offseason in the NFL is just as good as the end season, probably even better, because you got to be able to prove it the same week. So, and therefore, you got to wait for it to happen. I'm talking about Deshaun Watson. He wants to get out of H-Town, Houston, dog. He wants to get out, bro. And the thing about it is, it's crazy because he is coming off of his best season yet as a pro. Mm-hmm. He set career highs in passing completion. He set it in yards. He set it in touchdowns with the career low 7 interceptions. And this is probably dating back to this first year, the worst season that they've had. And so when you look at this too, like, what do you make out of it, bro?
Man, I think it's something organizational down there. And I say that because you rarely see a team that has had such success in recent, particularly division success as the Houston Texans, but they ship all of their franchise star players out. You think of Dwayne Brown, the starting left tackle. He left a few years ago to Seattle. Then you had D. Hopkins. He's gone. They traded him out to Arizona. So you have your best players that for whatever reason they're either not happy there, they want to have a change of scenery, and they're winning. I don't get it. But Deshaun Watson, he says he's done. He says he's out. They have a new head coach there down in Houston, new GM and everything. And typically when you have a franchise quarterback, your franchise quarterback wants to be a part of that process, right? With the new hires, with the change of direction, as the organization says, you know what, this is not a rebuild right now. What we're going to do is we're going to get the proper tools in place to help us become more of a successful team to go deeper in the playoffs. They didn't do that with Deshaun Watson. He says he wants out, man, and that huge salary, somebody got to pick it up.
And I think all of this goes back to, and this is what I've been hearing internally from guys who are actively playing in the league. A lot of them, especially on that team, the Houston team, they don't want to play for the owner.
Yeah.
And it goes back to when Bob McNair, before he passed away, he said, we can't have the inmates running the prison.
Yeah.
Which really, we all know that saying is usually supposed to go, you can't have the inmates running the asylum.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So now, even though Kyle McNair, his son, is running the football operations, running the team, he's the new owner, guys still feel that hurt. They feel that scar, as they should. And so when we look at it, you see Deshaun Watson, and it's like, man, he just recently signed a big deal a few years ago. And that deal came, I remember, 4 years, 156 mil. Like 27 signing bonus, 27 mil for the signing bonus, but 110 mil guaranteed with an average salary of 39 M's.
And he had the no trade clause in it, but now he's saying, screw all of that, I want out. So that tells you how bad it got to be down there for him in Houston, man. You know, the new head coach came in, he said, we plan to move forward with Deshaun Watson. I think that's one of the reasons he took the job. Then the GM comes out right away and said, we have no interest in trading the player.
We look forward to the opportunity to spend more time with him here this spring once we get started. And, you know, we have zero interest in trading the player.
As almost if he's like a commodity, a stock on Robinhood or something like that. Like they just, you know, he's not really a human. And I think that goes back to your point when you're talking about you can't have the inmates running the prison. Just that mentality. Those little things are the things that players take heed of and it sticks with them. And they're just like, you know what? Ain't nothing changed. So at this point, Watson wants out. He's ready to start new. And I wonder, what would you have to give up for a player? You mentioned his accolades, all the Pro Bowls, et cetera. What would a team have to give up to get a marquee, potentially franchise quarterback like a Deshaun Watson?
Well, I think, you know, what you typically would give up, you got to look around the league and be able to make comparables, kind of like real estate. You sell this house in this hood. I want to be in this hood. I'm going to look at comps. So when you look at it, you look at the most recent trade of quarterbacks in the game. You look at the Lions and the Rams trade, where you got Stafford and Goff. They switching teams, right? So when you look at that, and then they looked at exactly what was given up, John McClain, he's very embedded, and you're familiar with John. He reports on the team out of Houston. He came out and said the Rams-Lions trade will have nothing to do with the Watson trade if the Texans has anything to do with it. And so he also went on to say they want 2 1s, 2 2s, and 2 young defensive starters for their quarterback. And just to remind you, Watson, 25 years of age, he's still up on the contract, obviously, because he just signed that deal. And he's just beloved by the fans when you look at it all the way around. So basically, this type of trade to get Watson to leave, to go anywhere, they're saying the Texans want a deal similar to when Jimmy Johnson pulled the trigger for Herschel Walker back in the late 80s.
Yeah, trying to mortgage the whole
thing. That was the dynasty built for the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, you got to get your assets back in place, right? You're taking a once-in-a-lifetime player like Deshaun Watson in terms of what he could do with his arm and his legs down in Houston. That's a lot, though, bro. That's a lot. You mentioned Jared Goff and Matthew Stafford. Most teams, once you have a franchise quarterback, you do whatever you can to keep them because they are few and far in between in the NFL. It's hard. You see the drop-off when a starting quarterback goes down with injury or something like that, and then the backup comes in. There's often a huge drop-off. So imagine you have a franchise player, like you said, beloved in the community, can do whatever your team needs to kind of get over whatever hump, because clearly you got him early in the draft, right? You pick 9 times out of 10 you got him early in the draft. But to give up Deshaun Watson and to start new, you're going to need those first-round picks because you're going to probably have to draft another quarterback because they're not just hanging from trees, man. And it shows you right with Matthew Stafford, like you said, and Jared Goff. Like, I would have never thought that Stafford would leave Detroit for the simple fact Detroit holds on to their superstars throughout their prime, even though they suck.
Yeah, you're right about that, bro. And it goes all the way back to, hell, why you think Barry Sanders retired? You know what I mean? But when you look at Deshaun Watson, and you see and hear a lot of reports saying, hey, he may even threaten to sit out for the year. Well, that goes back to the Le'Veon Bell case. And well, if you do that, you lose a year of your benefits, everything that's on to you. Granted, you're making all that money. It's still though, like I count everything. But bottom line is, I think it's one way that he could possibly get out of this situation. And I think it puts the ball into his court. If the league goes up until this season with the new COVID protocol, the same COVID protocol, he could sit out, still get credit for the year, won't get paid his full salary, and still gain his benefits and everything that come along with an accredited year. So if I'm the Texans, and especially knowing that if they're operating up under the agreement that was from the players and also the league, the Texans may be without a quarterback, and they probably won't get anything for it if they don't ship him, because he could sit out and say, you know what, I'm feeling a little unsafe with this COVID protocol. Like I did it last year, I don't feel well about it this year. So now it gives you more of a right to try to ship him and move him.
Yeah. So Deshaun, you're basically saying Deshaun has all the leverage in this situation.
Yeah, he has all of the leverage.
Yeah.
I think he has all of the leverage unless if they come together and change up the mutual agreement that the Players Association and also the league came together to make. I seriously doubt it. So this definitely is going to be one that remains to be seen.
Yeah, man. And it's early in the offseason, you know what I'm saying? Then we have the draft coming up. So if the Texans are thinking like you saying, because I didn't even think of that, if the Texans are thinking like you saying, chances are they may go ahead and get a quarterback in the draft. So, you know, like you said, it remains to be seen early in the offseason. Hope it happens for Deshaun Watson, because, you know, whatever's going on in there, Houston, another former team of mine, hell, I played everywhere, but another former team of mine, but whatever's going on there that your marquee players just don't want to play there anymore. I think that's the root of what really needs to be addressed.
Oh, no doubt, no doubt. And it's very deep and it's real internal, especially when you keep in mind 70% of the league is black. And when you look at that team and that type of city, a lot of support comes from the African-American community.
Right.
So definitely got to look deeper and see what's going on internally. Kind of like the Detroit Lions and the Los Angeles Rams made that trade, bruh. They look deep. Both teams, a lot of people look deep. Sean McVay even looked deep. He was like, all right, I'm riding with it. I'm riding with Goff. But then, lo and behold, the trade happened. I thought Matthew Stafford had a chance, but I didn't think they would have been that aggressive. When you look at the Los Angeles Rams, especially taking into account they got the two best players, defensive players in the National Football League. When you talk about Aaron Donald, he's lining up front, and Jalen Ramsey at the cornerback position. And you already know they're getting top salaries in both positions. And so when you think about what they have and how they're capped off, and like, let me remind you, they signed Jared Goff to a 4-year, $134 million extension.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Gave up 6 picks to get him. Now they're giving up 3 picks to get him. 2 first round and the 3rd round, man. This says a lot that you probably can't even talk about all the way around. But I wanted to get your take on it, because I got my take is more so from the Ram side.
I'm telling you, put your money on a team that I'm telling you to put your money on. Ain't no way Spice could beat me in no bet. You know that. Oh, what's up, y'all? Listen, we're going to get back to the episode in a second, but y'all already know what's going on. Super Bowl week. Who's going to win? Y'all know who I'm going with. Stay tuned.
Like, who do you think really won out of this deal, bro?
Well, I think, you know, it was all good just a week ago, right? Everybody loved Jared Goff out in L.A., you know, brought him to a Super Bowl. It's 2 teams going in different directions, I think, with this. So, in my opinion, the Rams, they want to win right now. That's why they brought Matthew Stafford in, right? They're looking to repeat, go deep in the playoffs, and take that next step to get back to the Super Bowl. And they think Matthew Stafford can do it. But the Lions, they have to go young. Matthew Stafford has been in the league several years, I think since 2009 now. Had to go young with Jared Goff and getting those first-round picks, like I just said with Deshaun Watson. Now you have an opportunity to get another quarterback, groom that quarterback in the event that it doesn't work with Jared Goff. So I think the Lions are getting put in a position for the future. Clearly, whatever they had going on with Stafford didn't work. We talked about Barry Sanders. Megatron came on. He talked about the Detroit Lions in terms of how he felt his career was wasted. His prime was wasted down there. He didn't feel the pieces were put in place to help the Lions win. So I think this is a good step because the Lions went young with a quarterback. And Jared Goff is a solid quarterback. You know what I mean? So, again, with these draft picks that they get too, they have to put the pieces in place around him, surround him with some talent that can hopefully have them make some noise out there in the NFC. But I don't know, man. You asked me who won. I like to say the Lions did well because they got young at the quarterback position. But the Rams, they're going to be looking tough, making another run next year.
Bruh, it's when you think about, like, I played for two of the teams in Cali, 49ers and the Chargers. And when you look at this, one thing that I know you have in common, because I played for both teams and played against Oakland enough to even see it, even though they are a little different with fan-based support. If you're not winning in the state of Cali, people ain't coming out to see you. Like, weather and shit is just too good. I can find other ways to spend my time. Like, they ain't coming. If you are not the top dog in LA, they definitely ain't coming. Period. And so when I look at the owner Kroenke and he understands that, and he was very aggressive, like signed Aaron Donald. Then went out and got over a year ago, he went out and got Jalen Ramsey. Yeah. You know, best corner in the league. And now he understands and knows, look, man, I'm not trying to hit no bottom line. I'm scared money don't make no money. I'm going to invest in whatever I need to do to get me a player here. That's the reason why he went out and got Stafford. Yeah. Gave up 2 firsts. And so when you look at that, you give up 2 firsts and you can say, all right, man, I don't know if Stafford really worth 2 firsts. Well, it ain't just Stafford, it's the team and Stafford. And what I mean by this, why I think it makes sense is when you look at this trade overall, like you said, Detroit is getting ready to rebuild. They're going to get those picks. Now, if everything works out, which I think it will, because this Rams team was a very good football team. If they continue to win, worst case scenario, even if they don't go to the Super Bowl, where do you think those first round picks will be? At what part of the draft will they be picked at? Late, 27 to 32. That's where it's going to be. So when you look at it and you take into account certain guys maybe don't pan out, I'm pretty sure they did all of the numbers on it, the analytics, and just see. And so when you look at that now, you instantly get better, number one. 2, one thing a lot of people don't realize, and I like Matthew Stafford, he's a gunslinger. That's what they want to do, but he never had a running game. In 166 starts, he's only had a 100-yard rusher. Guess how many times, Tu?
How many?
That's not an answer.
I don't know. 12.
11. You was close.
Yeah, it was close.
If it were horseshoes and hand grenade, you would be the winner. So my point I'm saying is this. I think the trade was very nice. And even though they gave up 2 first-round picks, the Rams instantly got better, and best believe it changes up everybody's mentality in the NFC West. San Fran beat them 2 times last year. So Matthew Stafford has no recollection of that. It's not going to be in his head when he get ready to play them. You look at Seattle, they already going through their coaching changes. So it's going to be real competitive, man. I like the Rams with this trade they just made.
Well, the Rams, they got to get out that division again. You know what I'm saying? Arizona's still going to be tough next year, and obviously Seattle's always there. We'll see if that's going to work out. I look at the players. Again, when you have a franchise player, a quarterback, I should say, that's been on your team, the leader of your team for a decade, it's rare that you see them move on, right? Unless it's later on in their career, like Peyton Manning towards the end of his career, your guy Phillip Rivers towards the end of his career. You know, when you look at those situations, when a player's been a mainstay of a team so long, that's when you see the transition. And you hope Matthew Stafford has the opportunity to get some wins because, again, in Detroit, it just wasn't happening. He had one of the best receivers earlier on in the history of the game in Megatron. Just couldn't get enough pieces around him to make that leap, to make a deep playoff run, and to make the Super Bowl. That's the key. Can the Rams, is Matthew Stafford enough, and whatever they're going to do in free agency in the draft, is that going to be enough to help them make the Super Bowl? Because that's what you want to see from a quarterback that's been in the league so long.
Valid point, too. Very valid point. And when you look at what they lack on the offensive side, definitely a few offensive linemen, but then they also need a receiver. They need another burner. I know they got Robert Woods, Cooper Kupp, and, Cooper has been hurt 2 out of the last 3 years. He pretty much finished the season. I like him as a receiver, but they need another burner. They need somebody who's going to be able to take the top off. To your point, you are right. They got to be able to get other guys that'll come in. I think the core, the nucleus core, is so good. You will see guys signing deals there, understanding I'm coming here to win in LA. And I'll make the money up on the back end when I host that Lombardi Trophy. Kind
of like they did down there in Tampa, right? Or the vet coming back, or Gronk coming back, AB coming back, you know what I'm saying? Leonard Fournette coming back. Everybody want to play with the GOAT, with Tom Brady, and it worked out. Opportunity to win another Super Bowl for Tom Brady, man. And they're at home. So you already know, Spikes. Let's get into it. Me. Let's do this Super Bowl talk, man. What you got for me, baby?
What you mean what I got? I ain't scared. I'm still here.
What you talk about, man? I know it's going. I mean, I know how you feel. We talk about bets all the time, and I didn't get with you this week, so I couldn't wear the Auburn jersey. That's all right, though. That's all right. I promise I'm gonna make that up. Everybody sees that. But what we gonna do this year for the Super Bowl for the bet, man? Because I already know who I'm going with. You know what I mean? I can't jump ship. I'm a loyal person. I can't jump ship off of a team that just did their thing last year. It got the dub for me. You know what I'm saying? Mahomes and the Chiefs, I gotta rock with them. I mean, how do you defend these weapons, man? You got Hill, the cheat out there. You got Travis Kelce, best tight end in the league. Let's not forget Mecole Hardman also. He ain't no slouch out there, bro. He ain't no slouch. And he can affect the game in the special teams like he did last week in the AFC Championship. I don't know. We looking kind of good, brother. We looking kind of good.
You for real too, huh?
Yo, I got to run it back. I wouldn't be me if I ain't run it back, man.
Well, you know what? I'm going to accept a bet, and I'm picking Tampa. All right? And let me tell you the reason why, just in case some people may want to go to Vegas. I'll send you my cash app so you can hook me up. So when I look at this matchup, dog, and I get it, I'm kind of worried about Kansas City. They're coming to Tampa the day before the game. Yeah. And I get it, player safety, cool. But I'm going to tell you this. When I was in Buffalo, too, the first game of the year when the season comes out, you look and see, okay, we play Miami. What time of the year do we play in Miami? The reason why is you don't want to go to Miami.
You won't go in September.
You don't want to go in September because you already know, like, man, I can't breathe. Listen, bro, I'm just saying I think that's going to play a factor into it. Like, you can be in shape all you want to, but when that air has a little humidity in it and it's warmer, that's going to be tough on the lungs. But this is the real reason why. And I knew you was going to come with this, so I was ready for you today, too. The real reason why is this. When you look at Tampa Bay's defense, played one hell of a game, but they learned from their mistakes the other previous time. Even when they played Green Bay the first time, they cleaned up and had a totally different game plan. I look at two of the edge rushers, JPP and Shaq Barrett. They're coming off of that end raising havoc, going up against the tackles. Oh, my bad. The backup tackles. Eric Fisher and Mitchell Schwartz, both starting tackles for KC, they're out. And so, like, listen, I get it. JPP, Shaq Barrett, when you look at the damage they did last week against Green Bay 2 weeks ago, 5 sacks, 4 tackle for losses, and 6 quarterback hits. So now when I see that heat coming off, like, yeah, you can throw the ball away quickly, but that ain't how Kansas City make their money, bro. They make their money from running around, buying time, throwing the ball deep.
Yeah.
You got 2 hedgehogs coming off the end, and they hungry, like hungry hippos, son.
Listen, that's well and good being hungry and all of that, and I get it, and I take your hat off to JPP, you know what I'm saying, Shaq Barrett. That's great. But even when the Chiefs had their starting tackles playing for them, Mahomes was still scrambling, running out the pocket. So it don't matter who's there. He's going to be scrambling, running anyway. And who else in the league is better than this man at what he's doing right now, manipulating the pocket, escaping, still getting the ball downfield, and his receivers are always ready, doing a scramble drill, coming back to the ball. I mentioned Kelce. You know what I'm saying? I mentioned Hill the Cheetah. Like, really, bro? You really want this smoke?
Did you check the injury report, Mr. Smoke?
I don't think you want smoke. It's early in the week. Who cares about all of that, man? We ain't worried about that.
Mahomes on the injury report.
And
turf toe.
It means nothing. It means nothing, man. Tom Brady been on the injury report for 20 years. He still playing. That don't mean nothing.
That was strategic, man.
Man, whatever. You're going to take the strategic L. How about that?
Well,
promise. And then shout out to Brady. Shout out to Brady shout out to Brady, you know what I'm saying, getting back. You know he going to come out with something dope to make sure. We ain't even talk about your man AB back in, you know what I'm saying, and Gronk there. He gonna get
guy.
We talked about that on the
that clip up again.
We talked about that on the last episode. No, we don't. But what I'm saying is he gonna make sure that he gets AB in the game. Obviously, he gonna make sure that he get Gronk in the game. You know he gonna make sure his man get a touchdown or at least gets a look at getting a touchdown. So it's not gonna be no easy win. Don't get me wrong. I just think that the Chiefs are gonna have an upper hand in this one, and that speed, man. That speed. They playing. It's like NASCAR out there. They're playing at another level, bro. And even though Brady's methodical and poised and strategic, I just don't see it, man. I think that speed and that youth of the Chiefs gonna get them. And whatever that bet is, whatever you want it to be, whatever. I know our boy Coy Wire, former teammate, talking about a milk challenge. Drink a gallon of milk in 55 minutes.
Yeah, I like that bet, Coy. I like that bet.
Nah, Coy, I'm lactose intolerant, bro. I can't do that, man. You ain't gonna have me.
We gonna taste that thing down with some lactose pills. That's what we're gonna do.
Bubble guts on the show, and they have to bleep out the sounds coming out. We don't want none of that, man. And mud butt. I ain't doing all of that, bro. I was like, nah, man. We can pick up something. No, we can run the bet back. Huh?
We can't do the milk challenge.
Milk, bro.
Hey, they got pills for it, bro.
Drink a gallon of milk in an hour? Who does that? For what? What's the purpose?
Punishment.
Nah, you got to find something else. Run it back, something else. Either run the bet back from last week or, you know what I'm saying? What else we got on deck? I know a couple other people said a few things. 2 hot chip challenges. 2?
Well, no. You got to still fulfill your bet from the 1, but now you'll eat 2. If I don't, I'll eat 1.
All right.
There it is. Yeah.
Come on, Chiefs.
Yeah.
Run it back.
Hey, you better break out the preparation 8, son. It's on.